Friday, February 11th, Munhall Workshop, council meeting in order. Call to order. Pledge of Allegiance, Mr. Cole, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mr. Shields.
Here.
Ms. Frye.
Here.
Mr. Youngkin.
Here.
Mr. Bodine. Here. Mr. Brennan. Here. Mr. Eads.
He's here.
He's getting a lot first. Mayor Pauls. Here. Chief Fuller. Here. Chief Coles.
Here.
Mr. Cannon.
Here.
Mr. Bryson. Here.
Do we have any registered presentations tonight?
Yes.
Great. Okay, before we start that, we're going to try to change things up here a little bit. We're going to work on the audio because the video doesn't pick up much of the audio, never has. We're going to improve on that. If you want to speak, no one's going to be recognized from their chairs. You have to come to the podium, identify yourself. You get 3 minutes. I'll let you know when the 3 minutes is up, then you'll get a finish. You probably end up getting more like 4. So you have to identify yourself at the podium. You will not be recognized from anywhere other than the podium. Okay? I think that's fair. Okay, who do we have next? Who do we have first?
We have a presentation from CodeSys regarding third-party building inspection.
You have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Jim Russell,
Okay.
and I'm the owner of CodeSys Consulting. I have some business cards here. I'll pass them out rather quickly if you want.
Sure. Oh,
There you go. Yeah, we'll just do the card thing right now.
somebody pass me down the water.
There we go. You want one, sir? I'll take it.
Want one, Rich? Brian. Thank you, sir. Here you go.
Any water at all?
Thank you.
No, thank you. I have.
Thank you. CodeSys Consulting is a third-party building inspection agency. We're located in Millville, and we are currently doing inspections in the borough of Munhall. Dan Hankins is our inspector, right down there in Homestead.
You're doing it for Homestead right now.
We are doing it for Homestead right now. However, we are recommended by your code enforcement department to do third-party inspections. We'd like to assist you even further, helping your administrative staff. Since COVID, we decided to go completely virtual, go big or go home. So we do everything via the internet. If you have the internet or your iPhone or Android, you can connect to our office. We have mobile apps that you can download. I'd like to direct you right now to our website, which is www.code-sys.com, and how easy it is for your residents to work with us acquiring building permits. I have a little flyer here that I'd like to pass out. And I honestly hope I don't go over 3 minutes, but I'd like to pass this out also.
Oh, you have more than 3 minutes for a presentation.
I do? Okay, thank you.
Don't worry about
I
it.
only gave enough for the council people. That's okay.
I will share.
Okay, well, let's see how far we can go
All
on
right.
this.
Presentation isn't in the 3 minutes.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's kind of official.
Well,
official business.
Sometimes I talk too much, so I don't want to go on too long. And last but not least, I'll take it. But anyways, if somebody wanted to apply for a building permit
Right.
or plan review, architects, engineers, we are 7 days a week, 24 hours, 365. You go on our website and you click on New Project Submittal. As you can see, I have our website up here. This is a live, what's that? I don't. I do not. Okay, thank you. So basically, the first arrow is the New Project Submittal. You click upon that and you can choose between a commercial or residential project. And the reason why I'm doing this way is because I don't want to waste time with a long presentation, because typically when we do this, we're with the borough manager or an assistant. The next thing, the resident, the contractor, or whomever, they will then choose, very simply, the next step. What county are we in? Allegheny County. What municipality? Munhall. Then the next step. We want to know where you're doing your project. So, just very basic, simple information. We go down there. We are email driven. What happens is everything that we do is visible to the Borough of Munhall and the applicant and the people that they notify to us. In fact, I would like to take a minute here just to say that this morning, oh, here we go. I took Melissa Hafferty. She is now a user on our system. She got an auto email saying to log in. She can see every project that we have done in your borough today. And that will continue. If she wanted to give you emails, or anybody else, like the zoning officer, code enforcement officer, we work with them. Our system, once again, if I can go further, we ask who the applicant is. Who are you? Very simple. Name, address, email address. Then we go on and say, are you applying for a building permit? You click on that, and the application appears virtually in front of you. Fill out what you're doing. I put on here that you're doing a sunroom addition. Just something very, very simple to fill this in. Keep on clicking next. You can also apply for an electrical permit, mechanical permit, of course, not a plumbing permit because that's Allegheny County Health Department. But we are capable, we do all the counties around, so plumbing permits are in there. But whatever permit you're applying for, you just do it that way. Then you can upload your drawings. Once again, as you can see on the next page, the person can then upload a complete set of construction documents for us to review. Once again, the zoning officer is involved, and we have a little check valve in there that nothing gets through our system unless you approve the zoning first, okay? Unless we see a zoning certificate, we cannot go any further. Then basically, we ask you to agree to our terms and conditions that we are going to be reviewing your drawings, we're going to be processing the permits, and then it says 1 to 3 business days. It goes into our system, and our plans examiner, Dan Hankins, or whomever we have up here, electrical inspector, whomever, they go through it, and they can download their building permits via the internet. All the processes, whether we're dealing with an architect or an engineer across the country, is involved. Your community is also involved. Furthermore, we have, I just want to apologize first. The original proposal that we sent to you, the first cover page, you might have noticed, has our state certificate on it. If anybody noticed, it had a date on it of January 23rd, 2025, which passed. We have renewed it. If we have a current certificate, I just want to let you know that we are still certified by the Department of Labor and Industry. However, we collect all the money. We collect all the DCED fees. This saves your administrative staff a ton of work, okay? And available on the website is community reports. This is a report of all the jobs that we have done in your community so far. You can download these things. I send out personally these reports once a month along with all the fees that are collected. 100% transparent, and you're 100% up to speed. Once again, the residents are up to speed, the architects are up to speed, the homeowners are up to speed, the contractors. And we're just moving on all the time. Like I said, we just developed a mobile app to even make it even more accessible to the clients and the people we deal with. So we're here to help you guys out. Once again, in our contract that we did send you, you will make funds. There's no cost for our services. You will actually make money on our services. As an administrative fee, we add in a 20% for you for just us just doing business with you. And once again, all this will be on that report that I'll be more happy to give you this if you want to review it.
Dave, are you familiar with the system?
Yes, yeah. They do, like he said, several inspections for us.
Jim, are you handicapped by any data size?
No, actually, our company is currently, since it's all web-based, we're doing some very large projects right now. We're currently doing the UPMC hospital that's going in. We're also doing the Pittsburgh International Airport, the garage, megabytes of information, the file sizes.
What about like right now we do the subdivisions and all that? Will we still do that, or you guys?
You will handle that,
Okay.
zoning and all that will be yours. Once
Stormwater.
again, we can't, the permitting process, once again, I'd like to sit down, if you do choose us, we'd like to sit down with your administrative staff who will be logging in and seeing this. We want them to be very comfortable with it. All the communities that we deal with, we do give that service to. We want them to see what's going on. We want them to show them, it's like having a new car. You know, the biggest thing is how do you operate the radio. So this is basically how do you push it on the radio, exactly. So, no, we're able to reach out to the larger jobs and handle anything with these.
Does council have any questions for Mr. Russell? Anybody on the council?
I just have a question. What will be the impact if we do go to you for, just say, a building permit for a person versus what we have now? Will there be an increase in the permit fee?
Well, we do have the permit fees in our contract. Okay, so I'd like to sit down and probably discuss that with you, maybe the solicitor, whoever is doing that. These fees are commonly accepted with all the communities that we're dealing with right now. They're the standard fees that are out there.
Okay.
Nothing.
Dave, is there an increase in our fees to what they're going to charge?
I would have to look
at it?
in, I would have to look into it.
You haven't looked at it yet?
No, I would have to look into see how much they charge and how much we could still charge
Right.
for a building permit.
But once again, you know, you might want to, this is all through the negotiation of the contract, and you might want to take a look at with what I just gave Mr. Eads. You might want to look at the figures, there are figures right on there, added 20%. You just might want to collect zoning fees, let us handle the building permit fees, and once again, all our fees are transparent because they're on the internet, and you can't go wrong.
Does your contract go year by year, or?
It's actually a 30-day contract. It's a yearly renewable, but it's a 30-day contract. If you don't like us, just let us know. We'll get out in 30 days.
I think we're gonna like
You think so?
it. I think so. I have a
Appreciate that.
Mr. Reeves, everything to add?
No, I mean, we use them in Homestead, so it's just something that goes across the board. I think
Okay.
it's pretty cut and dry with those fees there. I think we need, whoever we pick, we need to make sure we use the one person, so
Right.
we don't have people going to whoever they want to.
Right.
You know, we know the plans are respected by A, B, and C, and we move forward with that. I think having the same people in the borough doing the job every single day is better for us.
Okay.
Instead of just having whoever we want come in and do the inspections.
And just in closing, if you go to our website, we do have a little, you have to have cartoons nowadays. But anyways, we have this little video in there. If you click upon that on the www.code-sys.com, it talks about how we can upload inspection reports, and everything is auto email driven. So if we fail a job and we post it, everybody that's connected with that job will get notification that there's a problem or it has passed.
Okay,
So
thank you.
anyway, well, thank you very much for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you for coming.
So Dave, could you look at the difference of what he has, and could you give us a report on this for next week?
Yeah, I'll have to check the labor ministry also.
You want a copy of that certificate?
No, we're good for right now.
Okay.
BIU presentation?
Good evening, my name is Mark Stanton. I'm the regional manager for building inspection underwriters with the Pittsburgh office and also our office in Jeanette. We submitted to you at the request of the borough a proposal to do inspection services. We do offer additional services if they're ever needed, such as zoning, code enforcement, rental inspections. We do quite a bit of that. Out of our Pittsburgh and Jeanette office, we do about 60 communities in western Pennsylvania and approximately 300 statewide. We have a lot of coverage in the area. Nearby, we do West Homestead, we've done it for years. We do Braddock, we do Whitehall, Castle Shannon, quite a few communities. And we offer to the design professionals are able to submit their drawings electronically. That's pretty much a given with design professionals. They like that. But we also offer personal service. If someone wants to sit down with the inspector, go over their application, we're very happy to do that. They're not limited to having to do it online. And especially if someone's a smaller contractor that's not, used to doing everything online and electronically, it works out well. So we kind of offer both worlds. As far as the fees, we submitted a typical fee, which is probably typical in the industry. It's all negotiable. We can sit down and tailor things to how you feel, what you would like. If you want to be a little heavier in one aspect, a little less in another, we're glad to negotiate that. Like I said, I think for us, we believe in personal service. That's the way we like to do it, and I think it gives better community relations if people can talk to someone. If they want to do everything electronically, fine, we do that too. And we do quite a bit of it. We do a lot of large jobs, a lot of small jobs. And we kind of tell our inspectors and our staff, their job is to make you look good. And a lot of times it comes down to, with a resident or taxpayer, if they're having a problem, is taking the time to explain things to people, not send them off to the code book or something like that. You take that little bit of time and talk to people, and you find out that most people are reasonable, and they'll say, I understand. So it's kind of the way we like to work things. I didn't bring any PowerPoint or any type illustration for you.
We have a nice setup here, we're not sure if it works or not.
I don't have any grandchildren to come and show me how to do it.
I have a daughter who can probably fix that, but
Yeah, but I don't know if that's enough information for you. But,
Where's your office at?
our actual Pittsburgh office is just above Emsworth. We run from Kilbuck Township. It used to be the Kilbuck Police Station. And we have an office over in Jeanette. We have an office in Erie. We have an office in Harrisburg, in Scranton, in Philadelphia, and Delaware. We do work there. And there might be another little office or two here and there. But typically, we would, normally, if someone wants to meet with us, we meet with them here at your building.
That's what I was asking. That's what I was asking.
Yeah, yeah. And like I says, we do have West Homestead. We've done it for years. And the gentleman, Chris Harvey, that's doing West Homestead, is who would be assigned here if you're good enough to give us the contract. He's a friendly guy. He doesn't have a problem talking to people. And on our job is you have to have patience. And I put 2 4-year terms on my borough council, so I know what it's like to be on that side. And I'm glad that when I did do those 2 terms, I was a lot younger because I couldn't take the stress. It's rewarding, but the other side of it. I know I seldom could sleep after a meeting.
Oh, yeah.
You're going over the meeting all night. So, like I said, I don't know if you have any other questions for me.
Any other questions from council?
How many years have you been in the business?
I've been 40 years. Yeah, I'm headed.
4 years is enough.
Yeah,
And what was your name?
Mark Stanton.
Mark Stanton. Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. If you needed me to come in again, I'd be glad to do so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
DCED presentation of state SDMP program.
Good evening, everybody. I have some handouts. I think what I'll do is maybe start from one end and have you pass them down and see how far we go.
We can do that.
So I don't know if I have enough for everybody.
We can share.
Let's start at this end. We'll start with this one. This first one is an acronym cheat sheet. Because when I first started working in local government, I didn't know what anybody was talking about. Because everybody talks in acronyms.
Yeah.
So I developed an acronym cheat sheet. We're down there on number 53, I think. We're going to talk about tonight. So this might be enough to get us at least down there.
I personally will say thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Let's go with the cards next. All right. For anybody in the audience, my name is George Newsom. My phone number is 717-649-2495. My email is G as in George, N as in Nancy, EW, SOME@pa.gov. I'll be happy to share that with you anytime after the presentation as well. So I work for the state Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a local government policy specialist. I have about 9 counties that I report to in the lower left-hand portion of the state. Of course, this being the most beautiful part of the state.
Exactly.
Wish music.
I think it's fair to say I'm probably a Yinzer. I was happy that Philadelphia won, that I want the Chiefs to 3-3. Anywho, the Governor's Center for Local Government Services, under that umbrella, is DCED, or the Department of Community and Economic Development. Under that are local government policy specialists, of which I'm one of. As I said before, I report to 9 counties: Butler, Allegheny, Armstrong, Indiana, Washington, Westmoreland, Fayette, Greene. I think that's all.
Beaver.
Who?
Beaver.
Beaver, thank you. Them bees always get me. I think that's all.
You knew that one.
But what we do is there's kind of a threefold types of local government policy specialists. There is, of course, planners who, you have a bridge you want to apply and get a grant for, a road you want repaired. Those are planners who are those are local government policy specialists who specialize in planning. There's me, who's kind of in the middle, who I help communities with fiduciary responsibilities. Then there's on the right side, there's also government policy specialists who work with EMS, emergency medical services, police, fire, and ambulance. On that side of things, I don't have to tell you guys, but you're well aware that it's getting more and more difficult for public safety because of inability to hire and adequately cover shifts. So consolidation, regionalization is coming down the pipe, and that's happening, will probably be happening more and more often. So those local government policy specialists who deal with that specifically. What I do is I help manage a grant, and what we do is we help, when I say communities, I mean townships, boroughs, cities, municipalities, and all the like. We help with finances. We help give you tools. Do you have to be financially distressed? No. But if you want to take a deep dive into your finances and say, where have we been? Where are we now? And where are we going? As far as a 5-year output, we have tools to help you do that. We also, which is the fun part, we have an implementation phase, which we help you with money that you apply for when you apply for the grant. So typically when people see me coming, they smile. There are phases that we go through when we apply for this grant. I will tell you ahead of the game, one of the things that grants, I see grants fall through, is because there's nobody in the community to help manage the grant. So I'm here to help you, whoever you identify with from the community, to manage that grant. But there has to be somebody whom I can say, meet with, get documentation from, send documentation to, talk to on deadlines and those kind of things for the grant. There has to be somebody identified in that community. And like I said before, one of the reasons that grants kind of fall through is because communities don't always do a good job of identifying that person. But I see David here, and I've worked with him before in the community, so I'd probably elect him.
Good choice.
But we assist local governments, like I said, with identifying, prioritizing, and addressing financial difficulties. You don't have to be financially distressed. You might just want to take a deep dive and look into your finances, how they're operating, into your debt, and those other kind of things. We help them implement a system to help you look at those things, and we give you tools, like I said, to help you manage those kind of things. The first phase involves 6 steps on that first page. Those 6 steps would be phase 1. At the end of that phase, you submit a request for proposal, we pick a consultant. The consultant will take us through that process. At the end of that phase would be some recommendations. The recommendations create projects, projects create money. I'll say that again. Recommendations create projects, projects create the funding. And in the subsequent phases, you can draw down anywhere between $30,000 and $200,000 in the phase, depending on what the project ask is for. You cannot go on to another project until the project that you have applied for, and if you've been awarded for, is completed. To be able to apply for it in the first place, you have to do a resolution that's signed off on, and everybody agrees, so everybody knows exactly what you guys are applying for. We subscribe to total transparency as part of our engagement process with our communities. I will go with you through the entire process. I'm with you through the entire 5 years that we manage the grant. And within those 5 years, you can have as many phases as is possible. You know, so depending on the recommendations and how you prioritize the recommendations after phase 1 is complete, you know, you can continue to draw down money, and like I said, that standard fee between $30,000 and $200,000 is per phase. Each time you do a new recommendation, though, you have to have a new resolution as well. So like I said, total transparency is part of what we do. What else did I tell you?
Right. It all comes together. It all comes together.
Let me see, am I forgetting anything? Real quick here.
Could you go over what you just said?
Which part?
Each phase is between
30 and 200,000.
And so you could have 5 phases up to $1 million, something like that? Or?
You could. This is unlikely, but you could.
But you could. So it could be progressively going through.
Yeah.
And you would have to be awarded each phase?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. What happens is, okay, you submit a request for proposal. You get a consultant. The consultant comes in, they do the first 6 steps. Okay, after that, on that last step, there's going to be a whole bunch of recommendations. It becomes you guys' job then to meet and prioritize what recommendations you want to have, because those recommendations are going to become projects. So then you submit the projects to me, whoever that contact person is, David, who's going to be contacting me. So David and I sit down, and he says, hey George, we're going to go with this recommendation A. I said, okay Dave, that's a good recommendation. Let's sit down and talk about the money phase and how we're going to implement it. Then it's my job to go make an argument to my superiors as to why you should get the money. Okay, and I do a good job. I've never been turned down yet. So
I like that.
for 20 years before this, I was a family therapist, and I was also a city manager and a assistant city manager and a city manager. So, you know, my skills have been transferable. So, you have me. I'm here to take you through the entire process. I meet with you as much as you need me. I'm local. I have a local office in downtown Pittsburgh. I'm also local, born and raised in Pittsburgh. I live in McKeesport now. So that's pretty much me.
Any questions from council? Dave?
No, I mean, we're part of this program in Midland.
Okay.
And that's where we met.
Right.
And he's great.
Right.
This is a great program. We can do a bunch of different things that we've been kind of putting off.
So what would you want to spearhead this to?
Well, we want to do some sort of a long-term plan. Financial plan would be good. We want to do a police study and a fire study. We can do that, I think, through this program as well. And there's other things that basically a consultant would come in, paid for by DCED, to basically go through everything and see, this is what you need to do, this is what we recommend, then the council decides, all right, we want to pursue this, this, and this.
Okay.
So there's a lot of possibilities for just getting some funding and also giving some direction of where we want to take the line.
It's not always funding too. Sometimes it could be peer support. You know, there may be a position or something that somebody needs training on. That's a free service that we offer to you. We send somebody in who's an expert in that field. And they can come and they can train that person, you know, in that field. And that's a free service to you that you don't have to pay for. So I don't want you to think it's always only just money. You know, then you have me, you know, like my experience I've had, you know, working with the state as well. So, and like David said, I worked with him before in the city of Midland, so been around a little while.
Thank you, George.
Still here.
Bernie, I was just going to say, so I'm just saying to you, George, if we already have a grant writer, you would work with the grant writer?
I can, yes.
Or you work separate from?
No, I work with the grant writer.
Are they, so do most boroughs, townships, communities have two? You and a
He's
grant
not a
No,
grant.
I'm not a writer.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not a writer. I'll help you manage the grant. You write the grant. So your grant writer still writes the grant. I help manage the grant. It's unethical for me to write the grant. But I can help your grant writer use some key words that can move your grant to the
Touchdown.
to the
Never been turned
higher
down.
totem pole.
You've never been turned down.
Never.
I love it.
explaining that part.
Any other questions from council? No?
If you guys, because we answer questions to the public as well, so if anybody needs my contact information, you can get it from David. He has all my stuff, he knows. Good?
We're good.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate you
Thank
coming.
you, George.
We'll talk later, George.
Okay.
Public comments. Any public comments? Up to the front, please. Oh, you have to come up, yes. Identify yourself.
So, Dawn Rondo, regarding these two presentations for building inspectors, is this to help our Mr. Cannon? Is this different from what he does? And why are we looking at this? Why are we looking for a building inspector?
Want me to answer
Third
that?
party,
Want me to answer?
Third party.
Right now, I'm the building code official.
okay?
I allow any third-party inspection companies to do the inspections. So like the inspection companies that do inspections right now for us is middle departments, CEA, BIU, plans examiners, COSIS. Some council feels better just to have one inspection company.
So then,
We use multiple now.
so if you guys go with one of these two or someone even differently, then Mr. Cannon does not do
I don't do inspections now. I'm a building code official. I can't do,
Right.
if like say the school district's building the thing, third parties do that.
Okay,
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
okay.
Nothing, this is nothing new we're
So-
implementing.
Okay, so.
We've
if
been doing this
is-
for like 18 years this way.
If this is nothing new, who is the third-party building inspector that we have now?
He just told you.
We just told, we use any certified third-party inspector.
Anybody,
What are some of the
any
names?
third.
Give us some of the names.
MDIA, BIU, COSIS, plans examiners.
So I think the biggest difference it would be the fees that they bring in, we will get 20% of them. Isn't that what the idea is? You're making money on it?
Okay.
They take care of it, we get 20% of everything.
Whereas now, we're not getting 20% of anything.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
That's why I asked what the fee diff structure is. Is it that much higher? Is it 50% higher than what we're paying now? I don't know. So that's why I asked David to find that out for us.
I mean, other than the permit itself, the building permit, occupancy permit, you guys aren't seeing any money.
Right.
So,
Well, I mean,
so for the past 18 years,
Well-
all those other third
well,
parties.
we have to look at that because our building permit application, we charge a fee.
Right.
So,
Which
I
I'm sure
mean,
in their fee schedule, there's probably some,
right. I mean, but
the
the
negotiation.
The borough was making, I mean, we might have to readjust our fees
Right.
for, like he said, a zoning permit type of thing. So we may make less money, we may make more money, depending on,
But I think, I know most times when we apply for a permit, they take a fee off the top of, depending on what the contract status is. So you're actually making out that 20% by getting part of that fee, whereas before you weren't at all.
well, like I said, our,
Other than the permit fees that
right,
you
we may
charge.
have to reduce that.
Right.
Because we're not permitted where we make money. We're
Business.
not profit
Profit.
making, we have to keep our fees down.
Right, okay. Okay, great,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you, Mrs. Alder.
Thank you.
But we're not making enough to cover
Costs.
the cost of having a position as it is right now.
Right.
Well, I mean, it depends on how much building we have. I mean, last year, pretty much it was covered. I mean, next year will probably be covered too, this year and next year. Because I mean, it depends on how many projects we have.
It'll be more consistently covered now. We have this
It
throughout.
depends on how much,
Work you have.
yeah, I mean,
Let's face it, right.
yeah,
How much you have,
Right.
how much work they do for us.
right. And, but, only thing with third parties is your residents might pay more money.
Right.
That's what I'm alluding to.
Yeah, your residents probably, because it's adjusted in there. I mean, like he said, it's 20%. Someone's paying for that 20%.
We can adjust this cost.
We could adjust our cost on our end.
Right. We'll know upfront what their costs are.
We can adjust their cost too, is what you're
Right, we
saying.
don't know upfront what their costs are too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's good points and bad points to just having one company.
What's your thoughts on, what's your bad points on it?
Bad points is Bernie Shields wants to build an addition. He used a
It's not gonna happen,
contractor
by the way, but,
for all his life. He knows inspectors. Hey, I want to deal with BIU, or I want to deal with CODESYS as a contractor. Some contractors like dealing with the same inspector. They're, they show up on time. I mean, all these inspection companies are good.
Right.
Or they get audited by labor and industry every 5 years. So they know what they're doing. All of them are good. They all have to have certifications and everything, so.
I think having one kind of simplifies everything. That way contractors can't come in and pick and choose who they want. They may be more comfortable with one because they work with them more often. They may not do, quite a thorough job. I know you a little bit, and this way everybody's straight down the middle. That's my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
think you have to have one
Yeah.
that focus on what's going on in the community.
Okay,
It
any more?
keeps everything uniform for your community too.
Right,
This is not a lot of different,
Yeah, that's big.
very uniform.
Identify yourself?
My name is Bilal. I operate the Citgo station on Main Street.
Sure.
We are a food service gas station and repair shop. The gas station's been there for decades. It was used to be owned by Mr. Listek.
Mr. Listek.
Listek.
Listek's is legendary in this town, right?
Indeed, so when my brother and I purchased that business from him, I actually requested that, can we just keep the name as Listek? And he said, he didn't want us to use the name, so we're like, hey, if that's not okay with you, we don't want to use it. But we understand that his father served as well, and they've been valuable community members, and as a respect to them, we want to keep the same name, but we had to change the name. I changed the name to Ted Service Station because Ted's a friend of mine who served in Iraq, and he passed away due to cancer that he got in that war. But the reason I'm here today is to talk about the gas savings that the borough used to get by pumping exclusively at the station.
Mhm.
My understanding is that there was a bidding that went through and Borough got a really good pricing. It used to be 10 to 20 cents over the cost.
I'm not aware of that.
Um,
You mean the old way?
Say that again? Yes, in the old way.
The old way, okay.
So when the business was transitioned,
Right.
there was some misunderstanding that we do not take the borough's card for some reason, a fleet card that borough use.
Right,
We do take that card.
right. That was actually brought up here.
Yeah.
At our meeting, we encouraged our employees to use you when they can.
Yeah.
That was brought up here.
Yeah, so and I appreciate that it was brought up here. But the reason I'm here today is because when I look at the gas prices and see what the borough is paying, you guys are still paying a lot of money.
Okay.
Just to give you an example, when you guys were pumping exclusively with us, you guys were pumping about 5,000 gallons a month, and the gas station was charging you guys 10 to 15 cents over the cost. On average, a gas station has about 30 to 40 cents make up for the cost, and about 10 cents of profit. So Borough was essentially saying $1,000 a month.
Okay.
So innovation was brought up here, and I appreciate that. Borough, I'm not sure if Borough is aware of it, that there are savings that you guys are leaving on the table.
So you tell me if we use our fleet card, that this discount doesn't happen? With the fleet card we use now?
Well, there are two things that happen with the fleet card. First of all, you guys are pumping wherever you want to.
Right.
There's a convenience factor. You know, as the earlier point was made, that do you want to go with one provider or multiple providers?
Right.
So one comes at the cost of others. So because you use the fleet card, let's say you go to Homestead and pay at get-go, you're going to pay $3.60. You come and pump with us at Citgo, it's going to be $3.39. You go with the Snorkel at Bob's, that's going to be $3.39 as well. So whatever the price on the board is, that's the price Borough will pay.
So you're asking for exclusive rights to us to buy our gas off of you?
You could be exclusive if you guys want that, or you could be able to, hey, we'll pump 50% of it, and would you be able to do the same discount?
Chief, how did we do it before as far as filling up our police card? Or list that, how'd that work?
We just went there every day. I think they close at 9 o'clock, so like the night turn, or 3 to 11, we'd have to fill up the tanks for night turn. It worked fine.
It worked fine?
Yeah.
What would we have to do if you had an emergency, had to fill up, the fire chief, at 3 o'clock in the morning, you had to fill a vehicle up?
When we had the contract, Ackerman's used to be open 24 hours, but they are no longer open. So that's the only drawback of, we have a 12-hour, 10-hour call. We need to go somewhere after most businesses are closed. We still have a couple 24-hour options to do. But that's what we used to do. We used to go to Ackerman's.
Right.
Even if you do like 50% of your business with us, we're still willing to give you guys the same discount.
Okay.
I think it comes to about 2,500 gallons.
Right.
And
That's a good discount.
It's a nice savings.
and that's a few $100 of savings for you guys. And
Do you want to meet with the manager and go over what we're talking about?
I did speak
I met
to
with him
Bob
yesterday.
Okay.
earlier this week. I had stopped by previous manager's office as well a couple of times. David was very nice, and we asked him to come back and talk with him. And because it was consummating, I'll come and speak here as well, if that's okay.
I've been going to Listac since I was 15, and I still take my cars to you.
Oh, we appreciate that.
Nothing's ever changed, but
And when John sold, one of the reasons John sold it to me and my brother was because we plan to keep everything as is. A lot of our neighbors did not believe us at the time. It's been a year, we've been there, and I'm sorry I've not come here and talked before, because I had a credibility issue. A lot of people would come and say like, oh, you were just talking smoke and mirrors, 3 months later, 6 months later, you're gonna run a bigger store or gas C-store.
Right, you're going to put a convenience store in there.
And I was like, that is not my intention, plus I don't know that how expensive construction this is. It's a business that runs well, it's a valuable community asset, and my brother and I expect to keep it the
Oh,
same.
excuse me,
That's what
it's been more than 3 minutes. I just realized.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry,
Sorry.
I was just.
I lost track.
I appreciate it, thank you for your
Thank
time.
you.
Thank you.
Any more comments?
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Any more comments? Reports, standing committees. Finance, go ahead.
Okay. You have your finance packets here. And your,
I'm back.
we'll go for a second. Right after the agenda.
Did we get the checks printed to pass out?
I have not get it.
Starting next week, we're gonna have complete printout checks on the table back there. Everyone will be able to see them up to date on all our checks we printed back there. Everyone get a copy. We're gonna try to get them online somewhere. We haven't done that yet, but it's coming soon.
Yep. Well,
Good.
we'll get that out there for people to review the expenses we have.
You'll be able to see the same checklist that we sign checks off every Thursday. It'll be back there on the table.
All right, currently, just a quick highlight, and it's still early in the year, it's only been a month in, but we currently, in our general fund, before collecting any taxes, we have almost $800,000 in general fund. So we're in a good position. We should have no problem even, we don't even need to borrow from our pliget. So we're, as I said last month, through several years of good stewardship, we are in a really good position financially.
We had no bridge loan this year.
Nope.
And doing very well.
So Dave, the
Yeah.
800,000 is one number. What else do we have set aside?
There's a payroll fund, which is how much, depending on when this was taken, that's probably been spent already, because that's.
No, that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking you, what, you have
We have
money set-
$1.5 million in our pliget fund, which is our, basically, it's accruing interest every month.
You have 1.5 million plus the 800,000.
Yes.
Right.
That's what I wanted the public to know.
And there's other funds here.
And those monies you have set aside for certain projects that need to be dealt with.
No, the 1.5 million is just our reserve.
Oh,
There's
wow.
nothing specific for that.
Awesome.
That's just a pliget, yeah.
That's what I want to keep that in, because of one of the problems we had with the audit last year for the bond, is there was not a good reserve for the past
Standard
several years.
report.
For the rating, for our
And
rating.
that's why I wanted to make sure we never touch that 1.5 million, we have that as a reserve, in case something big comes up, it's good to have it.
Okay,
So, no, nothing in our pliget is earmarked for anything.
awesome.
That's good.
Yes.
Public Works.
Yeah, everything's good, we got about 800 ton of salt, so everything's good. Midday's gonna have a meeting this week about different things in the public works.
I have a question on the recyclable bins. They're all gone,
Yes.
and we're not getting any more? That was a grant and that's.
Yeah, that was grant money.
Okay.
Well, I want to apply for a DEP recycling grant this year.
Right.
And buy several things, but I think buying more recycling bins makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
And that would be, I think would be allowable.
It was like first come, first served last time, and
Right.
it kind of, it was like very random.
A lot of people are requesting the larger bids
Right.
too. I've been getting a couple requests for them, and we're out of those, I know.
Right, everything.
No, I still have the old ones.
Not the blue, red, recycling, they're all gone.
The blue big ones are gone.
The big ones are
I
gone.
have
Big
the
ones are
orange and
blue.
yellow ones, the little ones.
The basket ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob, where did you get the salt from?
Um,
'Cause I know last meeting, we were pretty low on salt, and we were getting it were you getting it through the state, or were you getting it through
We were getting through Cog.
the
You
call?
get through the cog, check on.
Yeah, I
Shake
had
off.
2,000 tons ordered, and I haven't used any, used 500 of it so far.
Good.
Anything else?
Nope.
Oh, actually, one thing I want to add on to that is we can talk about more later on as well, but we do have a update regarding the boiler in the old Borough building.
Okay, you want to just wait till that?
I can wait
Yeah,
till
let's
that.
wait till that. Greenie,
Parks and Rec,
Parks and Recreation.
I can tell you that the trees are all down. I have each group or organization who put their tree up, I asked them if they would keep the tree so they could use them next year. And God willing, next year, I would like to ask others if they'd like to participate. I had a lot of compliments, even though we didn't have electricity, but Bob says we'll get it. So by next year, I'm sure we should have it. And the next big thing on the list will be Memorial Day idea. And
Yeah, I was just thinking about we'll have to get a meeting probably in a couple of weeks, in the beginning of March. And one other thing to add to that, Munhall Cares is working on having an Easter egg hunt. So I'll try to update you more next week on location and where they're gonna be having that at. And they're also gonna be doing a blood drive here at the Borough Building sometime in March.
Mr. Mr. Youngkins is doing Santa, I don't know if he does the Easter Bunny or not.
We have costumes, I think he's a little
Yeah.
big for it.
Yeah, I
I
think
don't
so.
think he'll fit in that Easter
We can
Bunny
let
costume.
Councilman Eads do it.
Community and property, that's the, we have no more information on that.
Well, what, Braveheart went out and spoke to the school, they got all that supposedly together, and
Regarding what?
the tax forgiveness
Okay,
program,
all right,
I'm sure they're gonna get it to us.
okay.
So they said that the school's behind it, and, the county just won't show up, so.
Well, if the county doesn't show up, we'll talk to the.
Yeah, what happens when they don't show up, they just clear the taxes for them,
Okay.
because they're not contesting it.
Oh, they don't contest it, it doesn't matter, show it or
Right,
not.
right.
Oh, good,
I
good.
think you need 2 out of 3.
All right. Items for consideration for the next meeting. Exoneration of taxes for the Munhall tax collector. That'll be on the agenda for next
Yeah, the standard,
standard voting meeting.
yeah.
We'll discuss on the hiring of a new police officer.
Yeah, so, I don't know, Chief or Mayor, want to talk about options for hiring?
Well, Sergeant Deshawn has, recently retired, but he's still on the payroll right now using some vacation time. And that'll be,
Oh, Tishon, okay.
that'll be a position that, we want to fill. And, jump in, Tom, if you want. And I think we're gonna need to do a sergeant's test too. I know we're gonna need to do a sergeant.
As of today, how many police officers do we have on the street? That's a question I get all the time.
We currently have 22 officers.
On the street.
15 are on the street.
Okay. So we have 7 that are administrative.
You have 2 school resource officers,
Okay,
2 detectives,
Chief,
chief, assistant chief, and a detective is assigned to the DEA.
okay.
So,
All right.
so we did hire one, and we're going to hire another one to fill Mr. Tishon's position. Great,
Yes.
If we choose to.
I think
Our
we should.
officer, we hired, I came up, his first day was Sunday. I swore him in Sunday, but I
met him here
invited him to come up to the meeting next Tuesday
Yeah.
and bring family or friends, and we'll do a public swearing in for him next Tuesday also.
Okay,
And Mayor, we're gonna have to do a test for officers too,
We do need to do a test for officers.
since we got one officer left on there.
Our one officer left, and then our test is expired, so we need to do an officer's test, which is good. How many, is it good for a year?
It's good for 1 year.
And you can extend it 1 year.
who's in contact with the civil service on their testing? Who lets them know that we need to test?
The borough manager.
Or a match, okay. You up on that one?
I'm ready now.
And we could save some money on the test too, Chief, you explained that to me before.
I could go through the Chiefs of Police Association, and they have their own testing.
Okay.
It's reasonable,
Didn't we do that last time?
and, yeah, that's what we did last
And
time.
it's,
Good.
it passed, that sometimes we would hire an outside agency to do the testing, but the chief of police seems to be the way to go, the association.
They also have promotional tests that we could purchase.
Okay. So the schedule, civil service exam, that's taken care of. Promotional exam. Speed bumps on Ravine Street.
Yes, I met with representatives from Public Works in Allegheny County last week to discuss, as you remember, last year we had a study done on Ravine Street for a traffic study. And the recommendation was 5 speed bumps, 3 of which would be on Munhall's property and 2 would be responsibility of the county. So I spoke with them, they are open to the idea, they haven't, for the last several years, they've been shying away from putting any speed bumps on any of their county roads, but there's getting a lot of pressure now, so they're open to doing it now. They would like to, it makes sense for them to do them all at once, and then one party or the other pays the other for their portion, so it's cheaper overall to do it. The one concern was that they didn't like the idea of having what I would call, and you can give me the right term, Matt, 15-mile-an-hour speed bumps. They would prefer a 25-mile-an-hour speed bump. Whatever the terms are, if you want to clarify that. But basically, a longer one, you can go over it, it's not as jolting for the car. That's their perspective, but I think the study called for the
15,
15 mile an hour speed bumps. But that's, we kind of prefer doing the longer ones, but they have to also be moved because you can't put them right in front of people's driveways.
Yeah, Matt said that we can adjust them where we need to.
Yeah, so they've already identified the two they want to do, where they want to move them to. We'll have to look at where we want to move them to. But they're very interested in moving forward with this.
So basically, when they put theirs in, they do ours too?
Yes.
Yes.
Did they say when they're gonna do it?
No, this is just the first meeting. I gotta follow up with them and make sure that we're all on board with changing to 25 miles an hour and moving the.
Well, they're permanent, right?
Well, they were saying that maybe do a temporary and then see how it goes and then do it permanent. I don't know what you would recommend, Matt?
I would just do permanent ones.
We did the study.
Yeah, we
Why
did.
spend more money on something?
Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
And the study says they're supposed, they should be there.
right.
if anybody wants me to reach out to Trans Systems to question the 15 versus 25, I can do that as well.
Sure.
Right.
That'll be good.
If you go through Squirrel Hill, you can't go 2 blocks without running the speed bump. They're everywhere.
I had somebody pass me on Maple Street today on the hill, on the dip.
Did you really?
Yes. I wasn't going fast enough. I was going 20 mile an hour in my box truck and they passed me on Maple Street.
Okay, Planning Commission recommendation.
Yep, the planning commission met last week to discuss. Why don't you give me the details, Dave, because you know better than I.
Well, I'll let PJ, he's here, he represents the planning commission.
How's everyone doing?
Identify yourself, please.
PJ.
I know you, but
PJ Schreck from Munhall. So the planning commission met last.
You're planning commission chairman.
Yes.
Okay.
So we met to review the subdivision on the Waterfront Drive that was supposed to be done about 2 years ago. That was supposed to be a huge spec building. They wanted to subdivide that out to do 2 spec buildings. So we met with them, reviewed everything. Pretty much, we want to give our recommendation to actually do the subdivision, to do 2 spec buildings down there instead of the 1. And they're really to start development in March.
March, April.
So it'll actually clean up the property down there instead of being an eyesore.
This is what, right next to the blue buildings?
Yeah. Yeah, so it's right next to the pump houses where they're gonna start.
Okay.
The subdivision that they're gonna divide pretty much almost the 3/4 of it. The last half is gonna be around the bend that they're not gonna develop for probably 8 to 12 months. So we talked about that, and then we also talked about, I talked to Mr. Vashevic as well. We had that consideration that we brought up several months ago in regards to the repurposing of essential facilities, churches, stuff like that, that Munhall never really did nothing with. So we met with Mr. Wick, he came to the meeting, we discussed that, you were there. So we had a really good discussion. He actually lost funding because it just took too long to move through with the process. So he asked us to look into low-impact businesses. I did talk to Mr. Vashevic today. He said we can look into doing that, but it's gonna be a timely thing to really sit down and try to define legally what's a low-impact business and what we could actually do to move forward with that. I'm not sure if members of council are into looking at that at this point.
What are low-impact businesses, PJ?
So right now, he has a robotics company that's in the Cherry Street school location.
Okay.
And it's just a couple office people making robots. He has another guy that's a carpenter, another guy that's a machine, like laundry machine repair guy. So he's looking to move some of those guys up into the new church, or up into the old church, to do that. Now, I'm, again, defining what we can do as low-impact business, I'm not 100% sure. So that's why I reached out to Mr. Vashevic to try to define that. But it's gonna take us a few months to really do that legally. But at the end of the day, is it council's wishes for us to look into not only doing a residential side into the convent up there, but also a low-impact business in a residential area. So I'd really like to ask you guys that question, because it's...
Are you talking about Munhall Gardens?
Yeah.
St. Rita's.
St. Rita's. So he still wants to put the convent up into apartments, but the school itself, he feels that he can actually make more on a low-impact business side and get it occupied. But with the cost of construction and the asbestos abatement that he had to deal with, it took his cost way over budget. And with us waiting so long, not that it helped any, but he lost sources of funding. So that's pretty much where we're at. Now we're back to having the school empty. So we have to meet again on Monday because we had a low turnout for a quorum, so we'll try to get that rectified and bring to you guys for the next meeting.
Have you been down Cherry Street?
I've been there before. It's on a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I mean,
Just
there's
the
no,
other day.
yeah, it's
It's,
Is that where the decal
should,
place
should,
was?
should be,
ninth
should be,
graders.
should be a little bit neater, I would think, if you went around the building. You know,
I'm not disagreeing. However, our concern is to get, from the planning commission side, is to get that facility up and operational and putting it back on the tax rolls.
I understand it.
With that being said, if we spend all this time and bring in Mr. Vašević to go over this and define it legally over the course of a month or 2 or 3, to try to really pin it down, and then it comes back to you guys, and it's not something that council really wants to move forward with, you know, we would rather have a good insight from council now to move forward in the next upcoming months to try to work out a solution to get these buildings that are in these areas back on the tax rolls.
I think it's important to put them on the tax rolls, but PJ, you know, I brought up it when we had the meeting, when you had the meeting, that it's a residential area.
Correct.
And like Mr. Vašević is saying, what constitutes low impact? Your neighbors, if you were living there, would you want this? You know, it has to be pretty defined, because once that business goes out and another business comes in, they might not be as low impacted as you
Well,
want.
and that's
That's
exactly.
what I think we need to be aware of.
That's exactly correct. We can define that, but then we're gonna limit what we can actually put into that building. So then it will limit the occupants down to, instead of having a robotics company that might be there until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, that's low noise, low impact. You might have somebody else come in there making bolts or nuts or whatever, you know, hypothetically stating, but we won't have control over that because now it'll be something that's in our ordinance that would then be defined who goes in there by the owner.
I would guess the low impact would be that employees that, you know, not 25 employees, but maybe 5 or under employees or something, or.
And all of that we can limit.
So it
or
wouldn't
we can
affect
make a
parking on
recommendation.
the residential area or something,
Because it doesn't have much noise when we say that.
not a lot of noise, right?
So that's something that can be defined, you know, through meetings, but it's for me and Mr. Vašević, it's the direction of council. Do you want us to proceed with that, to come up with a recommendation to limit what low impact means? Because right now, we have that huge facility sitting there that's not doing anything. And if we can bring in some kind of, and again, we're supposed to be residential, I understand the business side of that and not wasn't really people there, but it was also brought up that with that being the school, I mean, it was busy throughout the day and
Right.
it was quiet in the evening. So I mean, that was something that was there prior to
makes sense.
us doing that. So there's a lot of pros and cons to it, and I understand both sides of it, but to move forward with this and any other project in the borough, I mean, it's something that we have to decide and define from you guys, you know? So I'd like to see if that's something that you want us to do, then I'll give Mr. Vašević, have him come to some of our meetings, and we'll get that defined and talk to you
My
guys.
question is, someone may interpret low impacts this way, someone something else. I just don't know what the definition of it is.
We can define that.
Right, gonna have to.
So if that's what you want us to do, I can meet with Mr. Vašević in the next couple of months, and we can define and put a legal definition onto that, and then put it back into our original recommendation that went down that you guys kind of tabled.
I would think that's something you wanna have, you know, neighborhood input in, big time.
Well, and that's why we would have it, again, brought up at a public meeting for the planning commission.
Well, can I speak, Mr. President? I certainly agree with you 100%. The public needs to have input on this. It needs to be brought and talked about at a public meeting. But legally, is it allowed to even be put in there? Because is it spot zoning, putting that business right in the middle of a?
It wouldn't be
the heart
spot
of-
zoning, because what you're doing is you're redefining an ordinance stating that any essential facility, churches, fire departments, schools can be turned into not only residential use, but also low-impact business. But again, we don't have low-impact businesses defined. There's nothing as a definition there that.
So what you want to do is define low impact.
Well, what I'm asking is that something that council wants the planning commission to work with Mr. Vashevich on to define that? Because if we do it, it might take several months to do that, to bring back to you as a recommendation.
It's the only way we're moving forward, right?
Well, public input would be nice.
That's important. You know, people live right across the street and
And again, we brought that up at the.
smack in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
Well, originally it was set out to be residential, I believe.
Correct, it was all supposed to be residential, and then we brought it back up at the planning meeting because, again, lost source of funding, and we still wanted to move forward with that project, and it was, you know, Greenie and I talked about it with Mr. Wigg, and it was brought up, you know, hey, it was already a school prior. So from, you know, 8 to 2:30, 3:30, it was busy, and the streets were packed, and it's a two-way street, it's not a one-way street, so it wasn't like it hasn't been that before. It's just a matter of
All those bingo nights up there, it was a very busy.
weddings, receptions, everything else, so it's not like that hasn't happened up in that part. It's just, we can say it's gonna be for this part only, but then that would be, in my opinion, more of a spot zone, because we're defining it for the whole municipality for those buildings. So some of the buildings that might not have been that are now, we can turn back into that, do you know what I mean?
Well, you have low impact and then you have manufacturing. So where's the difference? That's what concerns me.
Well, again, that's why I reached out to Mr. Vashevich for legal consult on that.
Okay? Thanks, PJ.
Thank you.
Planning Commission reform. Want to keep us up on that one? Dave?
Yeah.
That's it.
So, last week, there was a meeting of the planning
You
commission,
want to come back up? Sure.
of which there was not a quorum. And I don't even know there's been a quorum for many, many months. You have 9 members in the commission. You don't need 9 members in the commission.
Okay.
We originally had 7.
I think it makes sense to talk with Greg about it, but basically rewrite the ordinance or do something to make it 7 again.
Right.
What are your thoughts on that?
I would agree. The people that have been on the planning commission and the new ones that we've had, some of them show up, some of them don't, but most time, the people that are on the planning commission have been the ones that have been there. I think if you go down to 7, it'll help keep a quorum for us and make anything that comes up in between council meetings and our meeting,
We make it easier, if you have a member who hasn't shown up for years, we can remove them. How do we do that? Anybody know?
I'm sure there's a way to do it.
Does the planning commission have any kind of bylaws or any kind of, nothing?
The
We probably have it here.
MPC, they use a municipal planning code. That's where I think it's defined. You know, and there's probably rules in there about membership.
But, yeah.
I mean, you might have to just wait until some people, terms expire.
Right.
and that's pretty much what happened in the past.
Okay, they just didn't add anybody on.
No, we had 7, I mean, even when we were at the old borough building, there were 7. And we never really had a problem with the quorum until, you know, and I didn't even really think about it, and we had our meeting, but it was still a productive meeting, but we didn't have the official quorum to make that recommendation for next council meeting, so that's why we're gonna have our meeting on Monday.
Okay.
Wait, what, it used to be 7, I like.
As far as I remember, there were 7.
When did it go to 9?
Was there anything actually said it was 9? Did we do?
No, I remember there being 7 of us in the meetings.
I think one time I was there was 7.
Yeah, and we've had, before for different meetings, we've had 7
I
people.
mean, it's not written down anywhere, it's basically 7 now.
We got 9.
No.
I mean, officially on paper, we have 9, but prior, it was always 7, to the best of my knowledge.
We had 5 back in the day.
Scott's will have to vote on that, bring it down.
Well, we can talk to Susan.
That's, we're going way back.
It should be spelled out in our.
We're not speaking from the audience. Mr. Barker, you have to address podium.
The zoning code, it should be
We're not
spelled.
speaking from the audience.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So I think we'll talk with the solicitor about it next week and see what the process would be.
And then you guys have our list, so if there's, if you have any questions, you can have.
Tri-Cog Land Bank update.
Yep.
This ought to be great.
So, we got an email from Natalie Boydston, last week, to Dave and I, listing possible properties that would work, that they would be interested in. And Dave responded with a response. Dave's response is here, and then the partial list of the emails in your packets, but for the addresses. Nothing's set yet, but there's a variety of different, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 19 properties that they're looking at currently.
Nice.
They won't go with all of them, there's some responses that Dave had saying this is what's going on with different ones, so.
David, where do you have 19?
Well, that is what I'm saying, is it got cut off. This is the official list here. So it got cut off, I'll give you a copy of this later. But yeah, this is, it only shows 7 or 8 here. So it's still moving forward. I'll have probably a better answer maybe next council meeting or maybe the next workshop, but anything you want to add to that, Dave?
No, just when is our next, light opinion property meeting? Mr.
That'll
Youngers?
be the next month, March.
March.
So we'll definitely have a good discussion about that meeting, about this.
What's the date?
March
March 3rd?
March 3rd,
March 3rd.
6:30.
March 3rd, 6:30.
It's in the paper.
Okay. Borough Administrative Assistant Search.
Yes. We have received 253 applicants for
Wow.
the job.
Wow.
Wow.
253. I've been spending the last several days.
More than I ever expected.
Of which I would say there's 60 that meet the qualifications. And the next step is I'm going to call 10 to 12 of them on the phone and then identify 3 that I think are the best candidates and then bring them in for interviews. That's where we are right now. Hopefully I have a name by the end of this month.
Dave will be handling all the interviews
Yeah.
by himself.
Yeah, so it's a lot of people are interested in this job. Not sure why.
Munhall Cares discussing using the old borough building for storage.
Yes, well, so that's been going back and forth for a while. This council basically agreed for storage of the old borough building. Bob has been able to clear out the 2 offices in the police side for storage. We basically, I think we need to have some sort of a basic contract in place that I can have Greg work on and prepare for next week. The one hiccup we have currently is that the heat is off again in that building. And we've gotten, the guy went and tried to clean it out and fix it and update it, repair it. And he says the cost to do that would currently be $58,000.
I toured it with Dave, was it last Friday? Whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
And I hadn't been in the building in 10 years. And when we walked through the old police entrance, you could noticeably smell the musty smell, of course, because the building's closed up. The old center where the dispatch was, there's wires hanging down. I was kind of like put off by it. I can't imagine us running into anyone. We made the bend to go down through the cells, down to the basement, past the old garage. We wouldn't even go down the steps. The mold smell, we saw water, I wouldn't go down there. I think the building's just, to ask someone to pay rent or even just to be there wouldn't be fair to anyone. I wouldn't want my family spending any time in those rooms up there. I mean, it's not what I thought it was gonna be. It was pretty aggressively nasty.
Now, Munhall Cares would, I mean, if there's a spot in this borough where they
Right.
like to come in here for some storage. I know we have some, you know, they don't need a lot, but.
I won't want to put them over there.
And the other problem with the old borough building right now is they could only get in there when Public Works is here to let them in, right?
Well, no, I was able to get a copy of the key to the
Oh,
police
okay.
side, and I have copies of that now. So we could have actually let somebody in there.
But they are interested in, you know, I
It
think
makes
they
more
would
sense
prefer to
to
come
put it
into
in
here
this building.
Yes,
at this time.
I wouldn't want them over there.
No, I don't think so. I think it's, and to spend $58,000 to get them in there for just storage, that doesn't make sense.
No. The second floor, the old council chambers and the old community room, not bad. There's some really nice furniture up there that should be brought out. The old conference table from the community room, we used to have council meetings on that table, I believe, way, you know, years ago. That was, and Dave's gonna try to work on getting a lot of that out. Yeah, and basically clean the place up. There's some furniture, just like, it's like abandoned. Everybody just walked out the door and it's, you know, I don't think the CARES will, you know, even think about using that a little bit, but we can work with the mayor and Dave and what's her name?
Katie?
Katie,
Yeah.
about looking for something appropriate in this building,
Okay.
all right? You with that?
Yep.
We went with the boiler,
Yep.
Waterfront Owners Association.
Yeah, so last week, we got a bill from an organization I didn't even know existed called the Waterfront Owners Association. Now, we are technically part of it because we own a piece of property on the waterfront. If you remember that little dinky little piece of land between the two railroad tracks. The bill is for $17,913 for, that is that annual, that's the annual payment. Actually, no, it's not. That is yeah, it's annual payment. And basically, they sent us a bill for the last 3 years, about $60,000.
I thought at one time.
They
I'm sorry.
thought we didn't need to be a part of it,
Mhm.
and then they had an audit, and the auditor said, you need to charge these people.
Yeah, one time it was waived unless we sold the property.
As far as I'm concerned, and I gotta have Vashwick look at this, I don't think we should pay it, and if they kick us out, who cares?
We never belonged to the association as far as we go anyway.
It serves no purpose for us to be part of
From
it.
my memory, that was waived unless the property, that we sold the property.
Right.
And then they would bill us.
The services from
Yeah.
Yeah, like, what kind of service do we get from it?
Nothing.
If we
I mean, it
sell the
makes sense if
property,
you
I
have a
could see
property
them charging,
business
but
down there.
Right.
not unless we sell that property.
We'll let Greg
Because
see
we
that.
would be us
you know.
paying it, would be.
Yeah.
Nah.
I mean, there's no reason for us to pay.
I wouldn't think, any member of council, you know, any thoughts on that one? Association? Mr. Brett, you know anything about the association, Brother?
What's the benefit?
The association is for the building owners and the property owners down there.
Have
Are
we
you
never
saying-
been part of it, do you know?
Are you saying that they're charging us a fee for the 7.5 acres that we
Yes.
own?
Yeah.
So, I believe they want us to be part of that, because if you want to do anything, you have to have a unanimous vote down there for something, so it could be construed that we're not voting on it, so we're not a member, so.
Right,
We were never charged a fee, there was never any fee
right.
applied to us at all. It was never done. So
Because
this is all news to us.
I just threw the bill out and see if we pay it. You know, well, maybe they pay it. Yeah. Quite rich, you said?
What does it benefit us?
Nothing. No, nothing. We had a building there, you know, maybe they'd service the roads around it, whatever. They have an association to keep the whole thing together, but we don't have anything there. But, you know, they don't go in and cut the grass for us or anything. Basically, they don't do a thing for us.
They don't plant no flowers for us.
No flowers, no. Okay, we will move on to fees for Westfield.
Well, a bunch of fees, but, so I included a list of all the fees that Homestead charges in the packet. And we basically need to start looking at this and seeing what, we need to update our fees anyways, they haven't been updated in a long time, and see if there's other areas we need to kind of start putting fees out there. for issues that we think are critical because of costing the borough staff time.
For instance, what?
Well, the first thing is a photocopy, we could charge 30 cents per copy. But I haven't spent too much time, demolition permits, building permits, of course we have, but we want to update them. There's just a variety of different permits and fees. We can talk about it more in detail, but specifically, we do need to update the Westfield fees. Now, if you remember, 2 or 3 months ago, I came up with a sheet, which unfortunately I didn't bring with me in the office right now, for the updated fees, because we haven't updated our fees for any of the use of Westfield for years now. That would be for the Atlantic Coast Baseball, Chatham, Carlo, anybody that wants to use the field for a day use. Those, a bunch of fees that we just need to increase the value for whatever it is, and that's definitely something we need to do. Rental unit fees, Dave, if I remember correctly, we don't collect the rental unit fee currently?
That's correct, right now.
But it's on the ordinances, we should collect
Yes.
one. So that's something that the council would probably want to discuss further, if we want to do that. I mean, there's only a limit to how much we can collect, because you can't, as Dave said, make money doing it, but there's a cost to keep track of who our renters are.
Right. And it's already an ordinance.
It's already an ordinance, we have to change it.
We'd have to repeal it.
Yeah.
And it's something that's already on the books, and we should be doing it. I know
Are we
these,
still,
okay?
are we still putting money in the fund for that, replacement of the turf, when it goes bad?
Not a dime.
Well, we haven't spent any of the money last year that we collected for the rental of the field.
You're talking about, we have a separate fund for that.
We have a Westfield fund,
We do?
yes. We have about $60,000 or $80,000.
Oh, okay.
We spent that much money last year in maintenance, but I took it out of the general fund.
So that more or less depleted that fund.
It technically depleted, but I'm
Right.
not moving it because I want to build that up so we will have money to make major
I
improvements.
mean, that's something we're talking about.
Yeah.
The field's already 10 years old.
Yeah, $1 million is what was required.
$1 million to replace the turf.
Yes, roughly. So we're maybe almost 1/10 of the way there.
Yeah, well,
So another 10 years. That we
well, I have another question. Who this is go to Public Works. How do we maintain that field right now?
We have a turf company come in twice a year.
Who comes in?
Turf company,
Okay, and what do they do?
they run a special machine over it, pull the rubber up
Okay.
and clean all the debris off of it.
Is that the same one that does the school district?
Yes.
Okay, I asked my son-in-law that. He told me that.
And then all we do is during the season, we throw down extra rubber beads.
How about actual repairs of the turf?
Turf company does that.
Okay,
When they luck up the turf, they make
it's all
it.
one.
Yeah, it's like a week's project.
Okay, that's good, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was a lot of the cost. We spent $20,000 roughly on the beads at the end of last year. So there was a couple areas that were really bad. But then, so overall, we probably spent about $60,000 to $80,000. And maybe, that should include also the labor and associated work in the field as well, because you have to spend time, public works budget to
All right.
do that. So the updated fees are around, so currently, 50,000 is what Chatham gives us a year. I want to up that to about 70,000. But it'll be combined with the contract that we're going to negotiate with them for the rental of the second floor.
Right.
But basically 70,000 for rental of the field for these seasons, and then also Atlantic Coast increased that as well. And then also the daily rate, if I remember correctly, increased it to about $75 a day or $120 if we're doing soccer, because soccer takes the entire field. So it's an increase of about 25 to 30% over what we collected last year, which I think is reasonable. That's all in negotiation with the bigger entities we haven't proposed yet.
Okay.
And the change order fee is the one that Donna's tax collector is recommending we adopt, because she spends a lot of time doing change orders and she basically just does it for free.
Okay. Yeah, she showed me numbers the other day.
So those are three rental unit fees. I want to talk with Dave about the amount we should probably charge. We might have to update the ordinance for that. And then change order we can definitely approve next council meeting.
Okay.
Or at least have Mr. Vashwick prepare an ordinance for it. And then also the Westfield rates, I think we can finalize those next week. And then we can update whatever else we want to add from here, we'll look at.
We'll probably have to have a public hearing on the ordinance, right?
Probably. Takes time to get these things done, but it's a process.
Park and public work vehicle cameras,
Yes, I still think, we talked about this last workshop. I would like to have cameras facing out and in the cab, because there's been a report of several drivers using their phones while operating their vehicles. I know that might be a contention with the union. I know Mr. East brought up an objection last month, but I still think we should consider having cameras in both facing forward and towards the into the vehicle.
okay.
Think facing out, yes, facing in,
All right.
Why, Tim?
I don't think we should have to babysit our operators every day as they go to work. It will protect them on the outside. If we're having an issue with people using their cell phone while they're driving, what is the cell phone policy for the employees? Do we have one?
I think it's in that book, the employees.
It's state law now, isn't it? You can't use a cell phone when you're driving.
For a CEO, correct. If we see.
Well, that's the problem. What I have now are rumors.
Mhm.
I have no evidence that people are using it. So
So
I need to be able to figure out a way to actually deter them from doing it.
So
And then I don't wanna babysit them. I don't wanna look at the camera all day and watch them, but if I need to go back, if there's a report, I need to go back and look at it and see, oh, this has been done. That's what I need to figure out.
who's gonna have access to the cameras?
I would think it
Who's
would
gonna
be,
sit here and watch them?
no one's gonna sit here and watch it, but like the police, if there's an incident, they would go back and look at the camera, the timestamp needed. I would go back and look at the timestamp.
I think we should let the manager take care of that, and well, your discretion. Anybody else have any thoughts on that one, other than Mr. Eads? Whatever the manager wants to do, I'm all for that, outside, inside.
You'll have a policy on the.
Well, we'd have to have a policy. I can start working on that.
Start working on a policy. Okay. New borough building renovations.
Yes. There's a couple things we still need to get done with the borough building. One is security. We still need to increase the security of this building. Access to the third floor is still, anybody can come in here and get to the third floor without. So we'll have the company that put in the fobs, the security pads, whatever you call them, for access to the doors during off hours. We can do that for the stairwells as well. So, and then I also mentioned last December about basically putting in a door between the elevator and the mayor's office. So that is a secure location as well. I want to put cameras on each of the different administrative computers, so they can, some sort of entry system, they can let people in, looking at the cameras, they get a buzzer, they can ask what they're there for. I think security is an important aspect of it.
We talked about moving the tax office down here.
Also talking about moving the tax office down right around here, so everybody, all the staffs are behind that
He came
security
down
door.
here, looked over here the other day.
So that's something I want to move towards, and, their inputs on that. And also, we also need to build out the hallway on the second floor to get Chatham to be able to build out the second floor space. So we build a hallway all the way down from the elevator on the second floor, going out towards the sunroom, basically.
Right, to the right.
Up to the right,
Yeah.
then they can take the space left of that and build it out for their needs. But we need to basically build out the hallway to do that and put in doors. So those are the things I want to start getting some quotes on.
Okay.
And yeah, move forward on that.
Chatham renovation.
Which
10-year
also
contract?
goes into that, they want a long-term contract, which makes sense. They're gonna put the money into the building, as well as they also want to build out the softball bleachers here. Make those nicer, not bleachers, but the dugout.
Okay.
And they want to put some real money into this field. They want to have a long-term contract for both the second floor space and the field.
Well, that's great.
10-year contract is what we were talking about. We don't have numbers yet, but we're getting there.
And
So,
once again, just to be on the safe side, I think we definitely need a signed contract, because we were told that the second floor was going to be, and then when questioned at the last minute, that all fell through, as we all knew.
oh yeah, no, this is all
You know,
signed contract
so-
with the amounts of money they pay us,
Yeah.
what they're willing to do, all that stuff.
Right, get it in writing.
Yeah, no, that's basic.
Greenways and Trails Grant Opportunity.
Okay, so you have a little write-up in one of the last things in your packets from Nova Strategies, there's two of them here. First one is 2025 Greenway Trails and Recreation Program, which is due on May 31st, it opens at the beginning of this month. So, it's parks, Greenways, Trails, parks. What do we want to encourage our grant writer to apply for? Don't have to answer me now. Read it, think about it.
Okay. We'll take a look at it.
There's also another one here for, this is Community Conservation Partnership Program, Grant Program. This is under, also, this, Greenways and Rails under, it might be under DCD, but this second one is through the DCNR, Conservation of Natural Resources. So there might be something else that would be interesting in pursuing this one. This is also opened up. This does up to 50% match. Eligible applicants, basically we would qualify for that. And there's a list of different developments of trails, parks. So if we can apply for both of them the same project to really improve one of our parks. So that's something else I want you guys to look at, and we can encourage, we can instruct Dan to prepare a grant for these two things.
Ready for the property, Vine Street property?
What?
The Vine Street property, ready for that now? Right here on your map. Vine Street property.
Oh, no, one more I'm gonna do is a small water grant update. So we have a outstanding grant from PA Small Waters from 2020, if I remember correctly. That is this folder. There it is. That was a grant that allowed us to televise, what was it to televise, Bob? Stormwater lines? Yeah, so we televised some stormwater lines, and there's a few $1,000s left that we have to basically use to televise. We finished televising, we completed the project Rick set out to do, because some of the pipes were cleaner than we expected. So we need to basically expand it a little bit in that area. And are there areas that we can actually easily expand to in that area where that was done first time, Bob?
Yeah.
So I basically need to get the company out here again, do $3,000 worth of work, and then we can close out this grant. That's just a quick little update. It's just, this has been on the books for years now. But the opening, PA Small Waters also did just open up another grant opportunity for this year as well. Now, I don't remember when that was done, but last year we did, or what funding was, we did 4 catch basins that were identified as critical, that were originally identified. So we have 4 main that that we need to fix up, and then Scott McCullough gave me a list of another 4 really critical catch basins that need to be repaired, that we can apply through the PA Small Waters to handle that. I'll talk with Dan about getting that started, prepared, and we can discuss it further, and then vote on a resolution to pursue that. But I'd like to get at least 8 more catch basins repaired through this funding opportunity. That is due by the end of April. And there might be some other, we can talk more about that as well, some other areas we want to tack on to that grant opportunity, besides just catch basins. So that's PA Small Waters.
So can I ask you,
Yeah.
what area did they camera?
What area was that, Bob?
Hamilton Hills, up by Toga Street.
Where was it? Sorry.
Hamilton Hills.
Hamilton Hills, got it.
And how much was that grant for? Just trying to get an idea what the cost of cameraing was and
Do you have any idea? I don't know off the top of my head. It was probably for 30,000, maybe 50,000. I don't know. Not a huge amount.
So would we want to apply for more cameraing of the
Well,
borough?
we definitely could do that.
I think that would be kind of smart to do for ourselves.
All right, I'll talk with Matt more about it.
Okay.
Yes.
Munhall, grant, our Vine Street interested party wishes to purchase property from the borough. Any information on that?
Yeah, I got a letter the other day from from Richland Acquisitions LLC. This is, I have a lot number, but it's located at Vine Street. They are willing to pay $23,000. I don't know where this is. Do you know where this is, Dave?
Yes, at the very end of West Schwab and West Marigold.
The one that looks over the hill?
Yes.
It looks directly across over to,
Cemetery.
Cemetery, yeah.
Yeah,
We own that.
I didn't know we owned that.
yeah.
Wow. You know, there was plans to build a bridge there one time. We're gonna build a bridge all the way
Yeah.
across from there, all the way across.
I just got this
what it's
last
called.
week, so.
That's why we own it, right?
Well, the original plan was to put a dam, or no, put a lake on Ravine Street.
A lake.
A lake.
I've heard that.
That's the original plan, the lake and then put the bridge over. A lake, dam up both areas.
Do we need to put it out to bid to sell this, or how?
I would think so.
I would think so,
We
yes.
just
We can't
couldn't
just
say
take the
here.
offer, no.
No.
So I think you should talk with Greg about that.
I mean, of course we want to sell it, right? We maintain it?
Yes.
Okay.
I think several years ago, you did post several properties in Munhall for sale. Remember, because the one guy bought one up on,
Yeah, Pido bought a bunch.
and one bought up,
He bought all those liquor places.
yeah, so.
Yeah, anyways, that's that.
Oh, any old business? Any old business accounts?
I'm still looking to get, I still would like to see us have, cameras at Troutman.
Yeah, that's happening.
That's happening, I understand, I talked to
Yeah,
the
that's,
assistant chief about that.
Our IT guy is working on getting that.
Because we have them at Wood Hill, we need them at Troutman, and a lot of the we need to change the location where the cameras go. Right now, they go to the number 4 fire hall. I think we need to have them come up here.
Now we're talking cameras.
I think even if you have them in the building, I mean, to start.
I think our IT guy's working on that.
Yep.
Good.
You have to get internet up there first.
Some of them maybe.
The angles aren't the best, the majority still work.
How can we fix that problem? The angle's not the best?
Yeah, we can look into doing it.
Well, basically, he wants to upgrade, he recommends we upgrade to the next generation of cameras. that-
Right. How old are they?
They're old.
They're old.
Yeah.
15 years old, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a point where.
We're probably 3 generations away.
Yeah, we probably are, just to kind of make a unified
Right.
system.
Right.
Easier for us to access any camera we need to access.
Any more
business.
Any more old business?
I did.
Mr. Brennan, first.
Good,
Go,
good.
Richard.
Okay, we talked a few meetings ago on this, and I know nothing, or I don't see nothing as far as money budgeted for it. I'm talking about a sign.
On the building?
Putting it up there, electronic sign.
I reached out to the.
Not an electronic one.
I reached out to someone actually reached out to me last week saying they still have one of our letters, or an R of ours, that they got to basically give us a quote.
Right, Seth had it sent out.
Yeah, so he was asking if we wanted it back, and I said, well, can you look at it again and see what it's gonna cost us? So I think we still need to move forward with that.
I think Seth said at the end there that it was gonna, it would be more cost effective to buy new ones than use the old ones.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
the last
fair.
I heard.
I think he just wanted to,
Yeah.
so, but, yeah, I wanna keep pursuing that, and I'd like
It's
to.
not gonna be an electronic sign though, Rich. Like
Well, you want one that you can change stuff on it, don't you?
I don't want one like that. I want one that says Munhall Borough. I don't want any kind of electronic sign. No. Fine, we could use anything,
You can advertise the meetings and, when the meetings are,
It's
stuff
online.
like that.
It's online, but all our meetings are advertised. Like a big flashy, I don't know, everybody else think. I'm not all for any kind of, something like that. We did something more classic looking Munhall Borough.
Maybe not on the building, Rich, but maybe a
Standalone.
That's what I'm saying, I'm not on the building.
He's not thinking on the building, he's thinking an informational sign out
Right.
there
Right.
that advertises events, it advertises meetings, it
Right.
advertises
Okay.
certain everything.
That's different.
That's
I
what
got
he's
you.
talking
I
about.
got you.
Yeah, I ain't talking on the building, I'm
Oh.
talking about separate.
And then Bernie, we also talked about one that's not, that doesn't put pictures of like homesteads down there, it's just information only.
For what?
Not putting like photographs on it, just information.
Right.
The one that homesteads, that's what theirs is, just information.
Just information.
Yeah. It's a lot cheaper.
Okay, any,
I have old business still.
old business?
Yep. So, last meeting, we talked about, Old Briley Lane,
Mhm.
and there are no street signs on Old Briley Lane.
Mhm.
The resident did call me back again and asked me specifically about that, and I told him that I had mentioned it at the meeting. And we have a resident who lives on Old Briley Lane here right now. But from what I was informed, that most of the road is in West Mifflin. Does that deter us from putting a sign there for Briley Lane, Old Briley Lane? And then secondly, the intersection on Briley Lane and where it comes out on Shady and Roberta Drive there is a problem, and I think we need to have lettering or writing put in there, some because it's troublesome right there, and it's not a safe
In
intersection.
terms of traffic flow?
It's traffic flow, yes.
There's
So,
been a lot of accidents.
well, it's been talked about for
Up by
many,
the church.
many years
Jim.
about doing
Okay.
things, and I really
Come up here,
like,
comments. When we're ready.
I'd really like to have some input done on both items, the sign, and, you know, I got a letter from, I don't know if everyone else on council got a letter on the speed on Briley Lane, which is shared between West Mifflin and Munhall, but, you know, they complain about the speed coming down through there a lot, so that's another area. I don't know about speed humps, but certainly we need to look at something there as well. But the signage on the street where you don't have a street sign, I think that's a problem for everyone involved. And I think the intersection there at Briley and we'll call it Roberta
Right.
needs to be dealt with.
Donna Dressman approached me, she heard about it. She has a drawing that she's gonna bring down of the layout, it was a layout for a directional layout of the whole intersection. She has it, or she's gonna update it, she's gonna bring it down, we can look at it.
Well, that would be great.
Right.
There were other ideas of making it a
Yeah.
dead end.
I don't wanna make a cul-de-sac 20 years ago.
Well, whatever, but we need to do something there, because it's not a safe intersection.
I'll tell you what, I avoid it at all costs. I go up to the light. I can't stand making a left out of there. That church sign blocks your view, making a left. The sun, in the morning, the sun hits right there, and it's no fun. Any more old business?
Bob, you ordered the signs, correct, for Old Briley Lane?
Yeah.
There you go.
Great.
Thank you.
I mean, I know the lower part that comes down, half is ours and half is on West Mifflin. So we easily put it on our side, on the right side of that road. But we might, maybe just put it in and hope they don't care, West Mifflin.
Exactly.
Or put it on the property.
I don't think they'll complain about it.
No.
It's either.
Just make sure it's maroon.
That's right.
Any more old business?
I have something I forgot to mention. I got a phone call from surveyor that represents a client up on the other side of Westfield. And if you remember up on the hill, there's some tall fences that were put in to basically protect the homes or whatever from fly balls. The person saying that those fences are on their property. So I'm waiting to see the actual survey.
We installed the fences?
Yes. But as Dave said, they've been there for 70 years or a long time.
Dave, is that a new fence after the field was renovated, or is it an old fence?
It's a new replacement fence of the old fence. Well, I'm Mr. Pino, and I used to talk
Right,
about
he owned that forever.
He owned that forever. Years ago, he was involved with Munhall Baseball.
Right.
He was getting tired of balls going into his yard, blah, 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 so they put a fence in years ago.
Who put it in?
Who knows?
It wasn't Pino. Wasn't Mr.
No, it was Munhall Borough,
Okay.
because it was West Hill, balls kept going
Right.
into his yard. So, I mean, I even told the surveyor today, that fence has been up there for 60 years.
So what are they gonna do with it?
I said, if you want us to, we can take it down, I mean, but you're gonna have problems with the fly balls going into your yard.
Yeah, we're not gonna build a new fence. We can remove the old one.
No, right, that's why I said, hey, if you want us to remove it, so on your property, we'll remove it, because, but I said, here goes the problem, is fly balls are gonna be going in your yard, in that property.
Right.
So I think he kinda is gonna talk to Mr. Pino's daughter,
Right,
so.
okay,
Yeah, that's it.
that's good information. Any more old business? Public comment, Mr. Barker, would you like to make a public comment? You have to come to the podium, though. You can't do it from there. Oh, well, you made it all the way down the hall, I know you can go over there.
No, I was gonna.
No,
about the
identify
sign.
yourself, come on
I
up.
have to get up for
James
Jim Barker.
Barker, go ahead.
I live on Briley, Old Briley Lane, which I know Bernie mentioned about he had saw the survey of the map. And if you look at it, it shows the street being considerably wider. But ultimately, the street, and it comes down almost split down the middle between West Mifflin and Munhall.
Interesting.
There's one house in West Mifflin and whatever else is in
Is that the way you
Munhall.
interpreted it?
No.
No.
The
I
county
didn't
map
look,
shows the north side
I
of
know,
the road. The entire road is in West Mifflin. The properties are in Munhall. This is the county map. So we have to get basically.
I have a survey
Yeah,
for
survey would be
my
awesome.
property, and I remember looking a long time ago about it. Because at one time, West Mifflin and Munhall had a deal to pay them. And the guy, they sent their surveyors out there, and then the issue of stormwater come up, and that's when, you know, Munhall was gonna pay half, and West Mifflin had their own paving program, they were gonna do the work. And then the stormwater come up, but that can be remedied, but just over the
talked
years.
about it at the last meeting, they said, Bob said it could be dealt with, so they could put a drain.
Well, yeah, the state put a catch basin in. Regular Briley Lane's a state road, and the speed limit, I think, is it 40?
35.
Huh?
35.
Yeah, that's a state road, but when the state was redoing work, I can't remember the manager at that time, I called them, I said, hey, why don't you talk to them? And they supposedly lowered one of the catch basins so that there could be a line ran over to it to tap in to the storm system. That's all. I mean, it's been a long time.
It needs to be.
I remember Clem Matter bringing it up. I didn't even know what the street was.
Well, paving, yes, I'd be fine, but we'd have to address the stormwater issue
I
first.
think it needs done.
Well, stormwater's bad to begin with,
Yeah,
the way
but
it
basically,
is.
the point is, if you pave it, the stormwater issue becomes.
It's worse. Well, that's what West
That's-
Mifflin said.
One more minute, Jim.
Okay. Where's they having the clock?
I have it right here in front of me, I'm looking at it.
Oh, okay. I thought, is that what those holes are for?
I couldn't tell you that. I have the clock right here.
No, the issue of the stormwater's been a problem without the street being paved.
Well, yeah, but it'd be worse.
But if they do it, they need to
They need
put
to
a
put a
catch
drain
basin.
in. They need to put a catch basin.
Well, they need to put one up where it comes down and turns. Instead of it all running down the whole length of the road, you put a catch basin halfway up and it don't beat the road up as much. You know what I mean? Your catch, and that's nothing but a matter of some piping. So, okay, my time's up.
Thank you.
I'll keep my fingers crossed on the pavement, if I live long enough for it, so.
Any more public comments? You have to come up front. Sorry to inconvenience you, but that's,
Okay. Dawn Onda. This is to Chief Fuller and Assistant Chief Cadrino. There was an incident today at Still Valley High School, and I'd like to know if the police report was filed.
A police report was filed, it's under investigation.
It's under investigation, okay. Were any charges filed?
Not yet, it's still under investigation.
Okay. And exactly what time did this happen?
I don't know the exact times.
Will it be
Like
after school?
1 o'clock, 2
After
o'clock.
school?
Sure, I could give you an exact time.
Okay, thank you.
It was after 3 o'clock.
Okay.
It was 2:22
2:22, okay,
PM.
correct. Okay, that's it, thank you guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Any additional
I
items?
got another one.
Okay.
I started thinking about
All
that.
right. Imagine that. You already had your 3 minutes, though, just so you know.
Oh, I got 30 seconds left. I quit early.
You did, I'll give you the thing.
This is important. We talk about the cameras, and I worked for a company that they finally put them in all the vehicles, and then they put GPS in them all, just so that it's protecting them if somebody was in an accident.
People that are bad drivers.
And people that are bad drivers, okay? If you do it, it makes a lot of sense today. I mean, it's a simple thing that plugs in. What about the police cars? Yeah. It would be all borough vehicles should have them.
We have 2 GPS systems, one in the car, one in our laptop.
Okay, I'm just asking.
We have in-car camera, faces inside, faces the rear seat, faces forward.
We have.
All I'm asking. That's good.
We have.
And we also have body cameras.
That's good. But they're great to do, so.
Any more public comments? Any additional items from council members? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion? Second? Adjourn.